It was a worldwide party with music, celebrities, and carnival rides, all to get people to buy a box of software. Microsoft's monumental marketing effort paid off. They eventually sold some 40 million copies of Windows 95. Hello, I'm Walt Swerko, and this time on the Computer Corner Digital History Project, we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of Windows 95 by going back to the week it was released, and the 4 reports I did for my Computer Corner audience, documenting all the hype and maybe just contributing to it a little bit. I got to interview Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates, who has something to say about what wasn't included in Windows 95. But we start with the preview of Windows 95 that was broadcast on August 23rd, 1995, about 12 hours before sales began, on the Computer Corner Digital History Project.
Well, in 12 short hours, you'll finally be able to go to your favorite computer store and buy a box of Windows 95.
Will you be waiting in line at midnight? Should you be waiting in line at midnight? Walt Swerko knows just the person to answer these questions, but Walt, it seems to me that Bill Gates might be just a tad biased on this.
Perhaps just a bit.
A bit.
We will give that to him.
Okay.
He's loud. Well, the chairman of Microsoft has good reason to be excited, though, and anxious. Windows 95 has to be one of the biggest consumer product launches in the history of global merchandising. It certainly has no peers in the computer software debut department. Microsoft's goal, of course, is to get you motivated enough to go out and buy a box or two of Windows 95. Factories in this country and abroad have been working overtime to stock the shelves. Hundreds of thousands of human guinea pigs spent months testing this software, which is designed to make your PC easier to use. And Microsoft technicians learned a lot from the questions phoned in by those beta testers. But now comes the real test, the billion-dollar question: will people buy it?
There's always people who don't want to use the latest in technology, but the mainstream in the PC world today is Windows, and in particular Windows 3.1, the version before Windows 95. And for most people, it's a question of when, not if, they'll move up to the new system.
Will there be people who continue to use Windows 3.1 and are reluctant to go to Windows 95?
This whole product is based on going out and talking to lots of users about what they need, what frustrations they have in using the PC, and it addresses those across the board.
What comes after Windows 95? First of all, are you kind of sorry that you didn't name it Windows 96 with all the 96 model cars just about to come out?
Well, we decided that the year it ships in is the year to name it after. And I think that name has been very effective at communicating what a major milestone this is, instead of calling it Windows 4.0 or something like that.
Can you give us an example of one thing which you had hoped to get in Windows 95 which didn't make the cut?
Well, one example is that you still have to boot up your computer, and it takes time. So whenever you're turning it off and turning it back on, that's kind of slow. We'd like to get rid of that, and we'd like to make Windows even better for connecting up to the internet, which is a big phenomena today, and so those are two of the many areas we'll continue to push forward in.
Well, Windows 95, as it is now constituted, is easy to use, but the fact is, most home computers simply don't have the processing power, the memory, or the hard disk space to run it. This morning I asked the editors of Windows Sources and PC Magazine what to do if that's your problem.
The real question is how much memory you have. If you only have a 4 megabyte machine and you're only running old applications, there's really no point in upgrading your operating system unless you're willing to upgrade your machine. Windows 3.1 will continue to be in the marketplace for people who want it, but my guess is that the individual user and the home user isn't going to go to it. They're going to buy Windows 95 probably in record numbers.
But the other reason is because a lot of applications over the next couple of months are going to come out and they'll be able to run on Windows 95 only. That hot new game that you want that goes, that is really fun and does all this great stuff, it'll only be able to run on Windows 95. And when your kids say, I got to have this game, you got to have Windows 95.
Well, we'll have more about upgrading to Windows 95 and more of our interview with Bill Gates tonight on a special edition of Computer Corner on the News 8 Update at 10. This week, our online explorer travels to Southwest Airlines headquarters in Dallas to find out how easy it is to use the internet.
And there's all sorts of stuff out there.
People are generally amazed when they first see what's available on the internet. Netcom, a company which provides access to the net, is sponsoring a nationwide tour to get the word out. And they're recruiting young cybermasters from local schools to lead the demonstrations.
I guess I feel kind of behind the times because I'm older and all that. I knew that younger people were doing this, and they can.
Kids these days.
I know it's just amazing to me that they know how to do this and I don't. And I feel like I'm lacking.
This was updated at 11 a.m. today.
Oh, man.
These cybermasters, of course, have heard all the stories about how many parents are concerned about pornography and other offensive materials on the internet. Mom and Dad, don't worry.
I'm not going to go there. I have no interest in it. It's hard to find that sort of stuff. I've been searching around. I found like one or two of those things, and I've been on for a long time. So there's a lot more useful things than there are bad things.
I'm a college student, so I'm a senior at SMU, and that's quite interesting that if you need research for a specific paper, you can go in and try to get research from, as opposed to going to the library.
I myself, I get stock quotes, daily AP updates, all on the internet. And a company like Southwest Airlines here, they've actually got a really neat website, which is a portion of the internet, and their customers can actually log into their websites, iflyswa.com, and you take a look at it. There's a picture of Herb there. You can download, biographical information about him.
I always wanted to picture Herb.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there on your net. You can sleep with it if you wanted to.
Well, you won't find our photo on our homepage on the internet, not yet anyway, but the address is right there on your screen. We'll update it regularly with all sorts of the stuff you see here on Computer Corner each week. And for questions and comments, connect with our electronic mail address, news8@onramp.net. You can reach us there by way of Prodigy, CompuServe, America Online, and also from the internet. We'd like to hear from you. And this, just in, we have a very late breaking news. Windows 95 has just gone on sale in New Zealand, where it's already Thursday, and computer shops there report sales are exceeding expectations. We'll be back tomorrow with a report on the big hoopla here in Dallas.
You'll be back out here tomorrow for that.
Yes,
Great.
well, over at the Infomart.
Oh,
Well, actually, I think the big story behind Windows 95 is the PR person behind
Yeah, the hype.
My
Yes,
goodness, this
It'll
is really
be interesting to see if reality matches up with their expectations
kidding.
on this whole
Always.
thing.
Yeah, you and Bill Gates
Separated
look a lot alike.
We were separated by about 1,000 miles this morning.
And about $1 billion.
And how much in the budget?
Well, more than that. I've got 47 cents in my pocket right now.
Thank you.
It has all the overblown media hype of a Super Bowl, a political convention, and a major rock concert all rolled into one. But this time, the hoopla surrounds a box of software. The host of Channel 8's Computer Corner, Walt Zwerko, is live at Incredible Universe in Dallas to tell us more about the launch of Windows 95. Walt?
Well, Tracy, as you might be able to tell behind us, retailers are pulling out all the stops in this launch of this product. Here's the box, Windows 95. It's Microsoft's first major upgrade to the Windows operating system in more than 5 years. Now, Incredible Universe and other retailers around the country are staying open past midnight tonight in order to sell Windows 95 on its debut day, which is tomorrow, August 21st. It's an incredible amount of hype for a software product which is unprecedented in the annals of retailing history. No, this isn't a Hollywood premiere. And no, it isn't the 4th of July. These people come to celebrate a box of computer software.
I drove all the way over here from Rockwall to see Windows 95. And I heard that it's a lot like what Macintosh has, so I don't want to compare it, see which one I like better.
Stores around the world are staying open late so their customers can be among the first to buy Windows 95, a new and improved version of the operating system already installed on more than 100 million computers. Microsoft Chairman Bill Gates says Windows 95 is designed to make it easier to use your PC.
This whole product is based on going out and talking to lots of users about what they need, what frustrations they have in using the PC, and it addresses those across the board.
A recent survey shows more than 75% of computer users plan to upgrade to Windows 95, and according to one projection, 1/3 of all the world's computers will be converted by the end of next year.
And it's a win for everybody in the sense that they can get a new system that does more, does better things.
But
unless you've purchased your PC within the past year, chances are you won't see peak performance from your software unless you also upgrade your hardware.
Just double-click on...
According to Microsoft, the minimum requirements for using Windows 95 include a 386DX processor, 4 megabytes of memory, and 35 to 45 megabytes of additional hard disk space. But you'll probably be happier if you have a 486 or faster processor, 8 megabytes or more memory, and an extra 55 megabytes of disk space. Most experts agree that the extra memory is the best hardware investment for Windows 95, but 4 megabytes of memory will cost you about $200, twice as much as the Windows software upgrade.
And the payback to having the new system is pretty rapid because it just makes your PC work a lot more effectively.
There are alternatives to Windows 95. Microsoft's arch-rival IBM has won good reviews for its OS2 software, but it's only won a small fraction of market share. And then there's the Macintosh, which has been presenting its user-friendly face to the world since 1984.
Clearly, Macintosh and the graphical user interface has established itself as the standard for the computer industry. So what Windows 95 represents is a very good copy of that interface.
Sour grapes? Well, perhaps, but Microsoft's Bill Gates told me today that Microsoft has no plans to stop making the popular applications which it makes for the Macintosh computer system.
Well, I bring a lot of my PC questions to you, so here's one for a lot of us. Do I really need Windows 95?
Well, the answer is, do you need it tonight at midnight? Do you need it tomorrow? Do you need it next week? The answer to those questions is probably no. But eventually, you probably will need it because there'll be a lot of applications which are coming out over the next weeks and months which require Windows 95 in which you won't be able to run without it. So, like death and taxes, Windows 95 is pretty much inevitable.
Enjoyed the report, Walt. Thank you. Walt Zwerko. And still to come on the update tonight, the Dallas City Council says TCI Cable is charging its customers too much and orders a rebate. We'll have details ahead.
Well, after a series of delays and an unprecedented public relations campaign, computer users can finally go to the store and buy a copy of Windows 95.
And they did just that when the software went on sale 12 hours ago. Channel 8's Walt Zwerko has moved the computer corner to the Dallas Infomart, where there's even more hoopla to come. Walt?
Hi, you guys. Well, Microsoft is expecting about 2,000 or perhaps more people here at the Dallas Infomart today. They're lining up behind me to register for the festivities, which begin at about 1 o'clock. But the hoopla all started just after midnight tonight. Software stores stayed open late to accommodate the first official sales of Windows 95, along with other software packages designed to run with it. Hundreds of eager customers snapped up their copies, priced about $90 each, and at least one person who did not wish to be identified apparently felt somewhat ashamed that he had not made the upgrade. There he is there. Well, the city of Fort Worth didn't waste any time hopping on the Windows 95 bandwagon. At a news conference this morning, Mayor Kay Granger announced that municipal government is loading the new software on its 400 PCs, part of the city's Technology 2000 project. Over the next 2 years, Granger said the city will have some 3,000 computers linked together using Windows 95 and Microsoft Office software. The mayor said the switch will save money while giving citizens faster and better service. Now, the first person in the world to officially buy Windows 95 was a teenager in New Zealand. That Pacific Island nation was the first place the software went on sale. And Microsoft's global marketing doesn't stop there. The company purchased every copy of the venerable Times of London, 1.5 million of them, and added a Windows 95 advertising supplement. Then they gave the whole paper away for free to make sure the British computer users got the story. And in suburban Seattle, Microsoft headquarters looks like a cross between an amusement park and a Renaissance festival. Less than 1 hour from now, Chairman Bill Gates and comedian Jay Leno will appear at the official Windows 95 launch event. I asked Gates to think back to the time when he was a teenager, when he was just getting started in the business, and if he ever thought he would see a day like this.
Well, Paul Allen and I, who co-founded Microsoft, had said that we thought there'd be a computer in every home and on every desk. So in a way, we had a vision that the PC could become an amazing tool. But if you'd asked us how big of a company would we build and how much attention would we get, we never would have dreamed of anything a hundredth the size of what's going on here this week.
Well, what's going on this week is being orchestrated in part by Peter Shirley, who works with Microsoft, and he's been with Microsoft for quite a long time.
Yes, I have. Approximately 12 years now, so it's been a long, interesting ride. I think this is the pinnacle of my career, though.
Well, you told me that you were in on the very first version of Windows 1.0.
Yeah, that's correct. The product's changed a lot since then. The original version came with 2 applications built into it. It came with the clock and a game called Reversey. And now we've got literally tens of thousands of applications out there that will run under Windows 95.
How long ago was that?
That would have been early 1984.
Wow. All right. Now, what's going to happen here at the Infomart this afternoon?
At 1 o'clock today, we're going to be doing a satellite downlink from Redmond, Washington, where our chairman, Bill Gates, will be introducing Windows 95 with our co-host, which will be Jay Leno. We are going to move from there into a set of sessions that we're going to be hosting locally here from 2:30 to 5:30 that will offer users technical tips on how to install Windows 95, some migration plans for companies, and that will be going from 2:30 to 5:30.
And if somebody's interested in coming out this afternoon, can they still register for it?
Oh, absolutely. I think that we've got capacity here for approximately 3,000 people. We're sitting probably around 2,000, 2,200 now. The one recommendation I would have is to get down as soon as possible so we can seat you in our main auditorium.
Okay, that's very good. Thank you, Peter Shirley of Microsoft, telling us about what's happening here at the Infomart this afternoon. And you know, all this hoopla kind of reminds me of those old movie trailers where they would tell you, it's only a movie, it's only a movie. Well, it's only a box of software. It's only a box of software.
A lot is riding on it for Microsoft. One quick question, have you had a chance to talk to anybody who's installed it, and what do they think of the program? Are the bugs worked out yet?
I haven't talked to anybody who's had time. They've been out buying it. I've spoken with a few people who have had the beta copy, but nobody who's actually bought a box off the shelf yet and tried to put it on their machine. I haven't done it yet. I'll let you know.
Right, Walt, we believe everything you say, and you are our computer guru, and we want to know if you have bought it.
No, I had the opportunity last night if I would have stayed at the store till midnight, but I didn't.
We understand.
Well, all right. Thanks so much. You know, we take your word on these things.
That's right.
Well, the wraps are now off. The waiting is now over. You can finally go to your local software store and buy a copy of Windows 95.
And that was a popular midnight hour activity in North Texas, and Channel 8's Computer Corner correspondent Walt Zorko is live at the Dallas Infomart right now with the latest. Walt?
Well, Gloria and John, this is where the Microsoft regional launch site of Windows 95 took place earlier this afternoon. And right now, patient computer users are just finishing up a series of afternoon seminars at which they learned how to use Windows 95 and what's good about it and how to make it work for them. But there were some people who were just too impatient to wait for seminars today. Just after midnight, retailers took the wraps off Windows 95 and hundreds of computer users were ready to buy. They're among the initial customers of the first major Windows upgrade since 1990.
The turnout was a lot more than we expected. It's been outstanding.
Fort Worth takes off on the information highway, which
and
is
Fort Worth Mayor Kay Granger hopped on the Windows bandwagon with a morning announcement that the city will standardize its personal computers on the new Microsoft operating system. So it almost seemed like an anticlimax when later in the day, more than 2,000 computer users sedately filled the main atrium of the Dallas Infomart to be part of the official Windows 95 launch event.
It is able to keep track of all of OJ's alibis at once. Pretty amazing stuff.
Tonight Show host Jay Leno provided comic relief for a 75-minute broadcast beamed by satellite from Microsoft headquarters in suburban Seattle.
This is a man so successful, his chauffeur is Ross Perot, ladies and gentlemen. Please welcome Bill Gates and the Bill Gates Dancers.
Gates and Leno had some fun with the new Windows in a fast-paced presentation which on more than one occasion resembled those late-night infomercials for psychics, paint sticks, and potato peelers.
It's also pretty interesting to see how much hype has been done for a software product. This is a software product after all.
But it's a software product which some people are warming up to.
$139.88.
I think it's pretty plush, and that's the word I like to use because it looks a lot more 3D than Windows 3.1.
We plan to use Windows 95 where I work and plus at home. And I just wanted to see the spectacle.
No, it's just $99.
Others still have some reservations.
When you look at the cost of having to buy a new computer with the new Pentium processors and the memory, I'm not sure that the I get enough bang for my buck.
Well, as a part of Microsoft's effort to convert you, if you haven't made up your mind yet, they're going to take over Channel 8 next Monday at 6:30 for something called the Start of Something Big. They're going to preempt Wheel of Fortune for a half-hour infomercial to tell you why you should buy Windows 95.
Interesting, Walt. By the way, if Walt ever shaves, he could be Bill Gates' cousin.
Separated at birth.
That's right.